I'm still bullish on Theta. And I still believe that during this bull run, it could hypothetically go to the price of $50. And now, of course, that's not financial advice and that's not a guarantee. But I think it's going to come down to the amazing fundamental qualities of Theta. Because, after all, Theta is a blockchain-powered decentralized cloud for AI, media, and as well as entertainment. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the Theta Network, it actually is a dual network, so to speak, because there's the Theta Edge network and as well as the Theta blockchain. And I'm actually going to break this down. Let me show you what I'm talking about. For instance, the Theta Edge network provides GPU compute power for AI, video, and as well as rendering. So yeah, I think that's very cool. And by the way, here's where things get cooking, because when it comes to the Theta blockchain, it is Ethereum virtual machine compatible, aka EVM, multi-blockchain network that supports Turing complete smart contracts. So yeah, that's kind of a mouthful, but that's how amazing it is. But of course, there's more because, for instance, Theta is also focused on decentralized video on demand. And it's alleged that it allows users to add decentralized video to any website or application. So man, that's really fantastic if you ask me. But with that being said, some people out there, they like to think that, hey, is, Theta some sort of like decentralized Twitch or decentralized YouTube? But that's actually not the case. And even Theta themselves claim that this isn't the case. Instead, they say that it's just the underlying blockchain and decentralized cloud infrastructure for AI, media, and as well as entertainment. So yeah, it's just more so providing an infrastructure, not really, again, a decentralized version of that. However, I think you do get the distinction there, and I think Theta, man, it's a very special project. Anyway, take a look at it. And if we take a look at this, right, the markets that they're heavily focused on isn't bad. Because you take a look at this, for instance, AI, right? The AI market is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So that's insane. So for the people out there that seem to think that AI is done, it's caca, it's trash, well, no, man. I mean, I get it. Some of the hype, kind of did disappear. I understand that. But I think better days are ahead because nearly $2 trillion. By 2030, it's, first of all, it's not even that far away at this point. We're nearing 2025, and that's bigger than some countries' GDP. That's kind of insane to think about. Now, we also take a look at they're focused on media and entertainment in a sense, right? And this market size as well is so fantastic, at least predicted to, because according to Mordor Intelligence, which, by the way, isn't some sort of Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, Hobbit or whatever, I don't know what movie that's from, but besides that point, it's not that, right? Mordor Intelligence does predict that, again, the media and entertainment market size could be worth over $40 billion by 2029. So that's kind of crazy in my opinion. Also, on top of that, you take a look at how when it comes to Theta, it's also, in a sense, focused on NFTs as well. Now, this right here, people may laugh at because they're like, oh, wow, man, haven't you seen, Bored Apes, Mutant Apes? Look at what happened there. It's caca, it's done. Well, NFTs, granted, it did gain a lot of attention because of that, but I think better days are ahead. And even Grandview Research, yet again, because they like to predict things, they do predict that the NFT market does have a bright future. By 2030, they predict that, again, the NFT market could be worth over $200 billion. So yeah, that's ridiculous if you ask me. When it comes to Theta, they pretty much don't miss. They're focused on all the right markets, and I really love that when it comes to them. It shows that they're a serious project. They don't focus on some random nonsense. That's not the case. But if that's not even enough for you, we also take a look at this, right? Theta is even partners with Katy Perry, American Idol, Lionsgate, and even NASA as well. Now, that's a very impressive list. But yeah, anyway, take a look at it. American Idol is massive. You take a look at Lionsgate, that's also massive, right? You take a look at NASA. I mean, man, that pretty much speaks for itself. So when it comes to Theta, I mean, that's very amazing in my opinion. Real deal entities, they're not going to partner with some random caca nonsense. That's just not in their style, man. They're not going to do that. So I think this right here does really speak volumes for something like Theta. That's how wonderful they are. However, it should be noted, though, when it comes to Theta overall, there's actually two tokens. Now, the first is, of course, the Theta token, which I've been talking about throughout this whole video. Now, this is the governance token of the Theta protocol. However, on the flip side, there is something called T-Fuel, aka Theta Fuel. Now, this isn't as well known as Theta, but let me just explain this anyways, even though this is not the main focus of the video. T-Fuel is viewed as a gas token, so to speak. And also, it's been noted that it can be earned, for instance, through staking and also by contributing resources like storage and as well as bandwidth. However, again, I'm not really focused on T-Fuel, but I just wanted to mention it nonetheless. Again, my focus is on Theta. With that being said, though, Some people out there, they seem to think that, oh wow, $50 is this crazy, random nonsense pipe dream. But that's actually not the case. I don't know why people keep saying that, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be $50 billion. That's so little in the grand scheme of things, really. I mean, take a look at BNB. BNB reached over $100 billion in market cap, back in 2021, keep in mind. And actually, I don't think the BNB smart chain is as dynamic as what a lot of people like to say, because even just last year, according to Crypto.com research, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened actually occurred on the BNB smart chain ecosystem. So yeah, that's not all that great. I mean, this is like basically 50% of that. Again, Theta at around a $50 billion market cap. I don't see why it's crazy. We've even seen Dogecoin reach over $80 billion in market cap. And come on, that's Dogecoin. Now I get it, Doge has a lot more fans, a lot more hype, but when you consider the role in which Theta plays, its grand vision, also its fans not that bad, I think it pretty much evens out the playing field. So a $50 billion market cap, I don't think it's crazy at all. And some people think that, oh wow, it should happen like 2 weeks ago, tomorrow or whatever. But that's usually not how it works. It takes some time. And that actually brings me to my point that I'm focusing on things that I can control, right? Like my dedication, my accumulation, dollar cost averaging, acquiring, holding, just waiting. That's it. If I start focusing on things that are beyond my control, like what happens to the price every 2 minutes, 2 hours, then I'm going to drive myself crazy. So that's why, again, I just focus on things that are within, again, my control, like not giving up, for instance, studying, actually learning. Because the more I take a look at Theta, the more I understand that this is actually very special. There's a lot of potential there, again, in NFTs, AI, media. So I don't think that the future is done when it comes to Theta. And that's why I'm staying consistent and I'm not giving up again. I feel like this is kind of like a 10-mile marathon and I'm kind of nearing the end, because if you take a look at it, historically speaking, the peak of altcoins could very well happen in the very near future, because yes, the Bitcoin halving event happened back in April, but this is great news, because usually as a worst case scenario, altcoins, they've been known to peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, which would mean that as a worst case, altcoins, for instance, something like Theta could very well peak near the end of next year, basically around October of 2025. Now, again, this is a worst case scenario. It could happen sooner, which would be great, of course, but if it happens a little bit later, then I don't think it's that bad at all, because again, it's just only around a year from this point, and it's actually more time for me to accumulate, so why not? And I've been through the Terra Luna crash, I've been through whatever nonsense happened with FTX, Celsius, I've seen what happened with, the 3 Hours Capital debacle, I saw the FUD about USDT back then, all the FUD about, exchanges, all that type of stuff. I've seen that, but if I've been through all that, again, 2021 and leading all the way up till right now, waiting around a year as a worst case, that doesn't seem so bad. It's like kind of like peanuts in the grand scheme of things. And if you take a look at it, Bitcoin has a bright future. The Bitcoin ETF is massive. You take a look at how many institutional investors there are for Bitcoin. It's fantastic. Also, institutional adoption. It's amazing, right? All those amazing factors, and Bitcoin can't hypothetically go to the price of $150,000 during this bull run. I don't think that's crazy. And at that point, it's only fair to assume that altcoins, much like Theta, they're going to go along with the ride. So $50 isn't crazy. And also, if you think about it, Bitcoin, even though it did reach a new all-time high this year, it had a pretty big pullback, but now it's having a pretty decent recovery. Even despite that, I think better days are ahead. I think Bitcoin is ready to break new all-time highs, 100,000, 150,000. Again, during the peak of this bull run, I don't see why that's so crazy. Is it going to happen this year? I think highly unlikely. You never know, though, but I think around a year from right now, things could look so different. Bitcoin, altcoins, Theta. Man, it's just a waiting game at this point. All I got to do is stay patient, because with all those amazing factors taken into consideration, Theta at the price of $50, I don't think it's crazy whatsoever. I think it's one of the best projects out there, and I'm very bullish on it, and I'm not going to give up. I still believe in it. And make sure to subscribe if you gained value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.